The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. On a Sabbath day, Jesus had gone for a meal to the house of one of the leading Pharisees, and they watched him closely. He then told the guests a parable, because he had noticed how they picked the places of honor. He said this: when someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not take your seat in the place of honor. A more distinguished person than you may have been invited, and the person who invited you both may come and say, "Give up your place to this man," and then to your embarrassment, you will have to go and take the lowest place. No, when you are a guest, make your way to the lowest place and sit there, so that when your host comes, he may say, "My friend, come up higher." In that way, everyone with you at the table will see you honored. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and the man who humbles himself will be exalted. Then he said to his host, "When you give a lunch or a dinner, do not ask your friends, brothers, relations, or rich neighbors, for fear they repay you your courtesy by inviting you in return. No, when you have a party, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. That they cannot pay you back means that you are fortunate, because repayment will be made to you when the virtuous rise again." Beloved, the Gospel of the Lord.
It doesn't happen every year that the 28th of August falls on a Sunday. So when it doesn't, we don't celebrate and we don't speak much of St. Augustine, although I quote him a lot in my Sunday reflections. Because this was a great genius, saint, and lover of God. But we know very little of him. So I take this opportunity today, that it falls on a Sunday, to reflect on this man, on this great balanced personality that we know about. He was born in 354. You see the important dates on the screen. So imagine only about 400 years after the birth of Christ. And he formed the Christian church, and he was the most influential saint and personality in the church after St. Paul. He gave the beginning of the church great power and impact, especially intellectual and theological foundation for the church to follow. And he is still very influential today in the church, with popes, with the church, with everyone. He was baptized in 387. He became a priest in 391, and a bishop, quite reluctantly, but by popular vote, as it used to happen at that time, in 395. And then he died in 430. Quite an advanced age, over 70, 76 or so. We don't have time to speak about all his life. He was a prolific writer. He was an orator. He used to speak hours and hours and hours and hours. And people used to queue to speak to him and to hear him talk about God, about life, about human living. He spoke practically about everything: music, good life, whatever. I just picked 3 main quotes from him, but he has thousands and thousands of quotes. If you are familiar enough with internet, you can go and find Augustine quotes, St. Augustine quotes, and you will have thousands of them, and you will see what a prolific writer he was and what wisdom he gave us with his writing. In his young age, he spent his life as other young people at that time, a good lover of women and of sex. In fact, one of his prayers was, God, yes, please relieve me of my passion for sex, but not yet, not yet. Leave me to enjoy it now while I am young. Maybe later, yes. Relieve me of that. But at the moment, please let me enjoy it. This was Augustine, to see his humanity. His humanity. He was a great human being, but a great lover of God. And here's his faith. So I chose a few of his quotes. First of all, this one. We have so many doubts about our faith. What is going to happen after life? What we are going to find there when we die? This is a normal way of reasoning things for us all, everyone. Myself, you, and everyone. And so this was also the problem with Augustine. He was always searching for truth and love in his life, all his life. And he described faith as such. Faith is to believe what you do not see. We do not see afterlife, but we believe in it. So this is faith, believing in what you don't see. We believe that there is a universe, we are not seeing it, but you know it exists. We believe there is the wind, we don't see the wind, but we feel it, and this is faith. The reward of this faith is to see what you believe. When you have faith, you start believing in what you don't see. How deep and how powerful is this quote from Augustine about faith. Another one is practical for our humanity. Remember, Augustine went only to he was born in North Africa, but the only place he visited was Italy. He didn't go in any other country, only Italy. North Africa and Italy. In Italy he was in Rome and he was in Milan, 2 major cities in his time. And yet, he had the wisdom to say, the world is a book. So he considered all the world that he lived in. And those who do not travel, read only a page. So imagine if Augustine lived in our time, when we had so many countries near each other. We have the internet, we have the communications by flight. In a few hours, you are in New York, you are in North Korea, you are in India, you are in China, all the world, Asia, America, South America, all the world. Imagine if St. Augustine lived in our time. He said, if you don't travel, you are like reading only 1 page of a of a book. You haven't read anything? So he compares traveling by reading a book. You read it all. And so he is giving us also a wise tip of how good it is that you travel, that you meet people, that you communicate with others. And there the last quote that I chose for us to reflect upon today is this: pray as though everything depended on God. This is faith. You have faith in God that loves you. You have faith in God that cares for you. So have faith, this is prayer, that you have faith in this God. Where, as though everything depended on you. Don't leave everything on God. Don't think that God is going to work miracles on you, on something that is impossible, and you just sit there doing nothing. God wants us to do our part. God wants us to live our humanity, to enjoy life, and to do our best to live our life. But we have faith in Him that He can give us, He can help us in our work, in our endeavor, in our stresses, in our problems that we face to live this life. So this is just a little sample of how great this genius was. When you have a time, try to open his classic book of the Confessions. We have only one quote, the first line that he has in this book, in the Confessions. We have it at the entrance of the Millennium Chapel. You created us for you, O Lord, and our heart is restless until it rests in you. That's the classical quote, the first very line of his Confessions, and it should be also our motto of living this world. You created us for you, O Lord, and our heart is restless until it rests in you. Let's read the prayers that we have on the screen. Dear God, so often I seek the highest place for myself, fearing that if I do, I'll not have a place at all. Open my ears to hear what has been deafened. Allow my heart to beat in unity with the poor, the ignorant, the enslaved, the vulnerable ones who are first in your kingdom. Let me be blessed with their inability to repay me and restore me to my original blessedness, your image and likeness, my good and gracious God. Amen.